Welcome back to Rave Master Anime Review. This is part number 5. This is uncovering the final 4 arcs of the manga, which were never adapted to the anime for some strange reason. Yeah, I have no idea why. It just wasn't. Actually, it's like 6. First, the one I'm talking about in this episode is Mermaid's Peril, which covers chapters 96 to 140. Or I say an arc that should be, it's kind of in a way 3 arcs in one. Because this arc pretty much follows up with several different things. Yeah, and I do mean several different things. Stuff like the stuff with the Silver Ray, which has been a frequent recurring thing since Mystica first made his debut. Yeah, that gets wrapped up in this arc. The character Rena, she gets her character arc gets wrapped up in here as well. The pumpkin guy Dayu, yeah, he actually shows up in this arc and he's defeated by Haru, kind of wrapping him up as a villain. They take out his organization along with the other organization as well, the Omni Group, and the whole thing with the Mermaid stuff. Yeah, the Mermaid doesn't come like a little bit in. Like the first part of the arc is simply like sort of like continuing from where the series left off. Let's say if you read this arc right after you finish watching the anime, it does feel like a good continuation of where the anime could have gone if it had been canceled at 51 episodes. So apparently, by the time this arc, it's been 1 month since the end of the previous arc of the series. The Symphonia arc. Yeah, it's 1 month since then. The Demon Guards Fortress has been completed. They have a new member of the Rishion 6, one of the generals who actually showed up in the previous arc. He takes up the 6th spot in the Rishion 6. Take up Shooter Spot, who had been removed due to him being weak. Yeah, and this guy showed up for like 1 episode in the actual anime itself. Yeah, and it turns out this guy was actually planted there by King years prior to infiltrate the Empire just to plant all their secrets. Oh yeah, apparently in his memory he has all of the Empire's secrets. Wow. Okay, interesting development. Now in the case, what happens here? The first section is that you have the group going to a cave and doing some exploring. They come across a spring. They think there's a Rave stone here that's actually a spring, which turns out to be a dark spring. Yeah, they find this out very weird way, where Haru touches the thing. This is, of course, a panel. And the next time we see him in blue covered like black and evil. And Haru is trying, and then later, the dark Haru jumps on Ellie and tries to strip her butt naked. He tries to, he's like, let's take a little peek. So he pulls up her shirt, and apparently she is wearing a bra. I'm sure some people are like, it's about damn time. Also in this arc, she actually wears something different than her usual outfit. Yeah, she wears like a tank top and pants. Something she never actually wore a lot of the time. A lot of time we see her, she's wearing like I'm talking about like an undershirt and pants. That's what she was wearing in here. Because normally she wears like these heart cross tank top shirts and mini skirts. Also in this arc, yeah, I believe it was at right on the start before they get to this cave. Haru does some swimming. Actually, it was just after this. Haru does some swimming, and of course they defeat the creature, and of course they get to the other side and go to the ocean. They do some swimming, and of course they all find the Simpsons anyways. And Haru decides to go underneath, and he comes up right near Ellie where she's bathing, butt naked, and she does the most sensible thing. She beats the living crap out of him for doing it. As far as I know, this is by far the only time he's ever done this. This is probably the first time he's ever done this where he accidentally peeks on her butt naked. He actually peeps on her by accident, and of course he beats up for it. So there's that. They meet the mermaid Cecile, who becomes a recurring, basically becomes a regular character in this arc, and then afterwards they basically, kind of like what they do with other characters who make the first appearance in the actual arc itself, by the end of the arc, they stay exactly what they are. They don't really go with the group. I would say the only 2 so far at this point who actually go with the group is Musica and Let. That's it, just these 2. Everybody else they meet just decides to go home, and not travel with them. It'd be nice if these mermaids actually travel with them. and and when they go to the village, of course, they all put on their swimsuits anyways. Yeah, everybody puts on their swimsuits. Even Let puts on a swimsuit, which has been unusual for him to do. And they go swimming. They get to the Mermaid King. They get to Mermaid. They meet up with Cecile's sister. She's apparently shocked and slaps away a shell that, of course, they may have played. Of course, Cecile's sister doesn't even know she's even there. And when they see the village, it's like basically it's been attacked by the army group, which was actually introduced in the other arc as well, in the previous arc. And of course, the pumpkin group. And they basically take all the mermaids hostage. Of course, later on, they do break out and help Haru and the group actually defeat their captors. Yeah, and that part gets wrapped up pretty quickly. Yeah, that portion of the arc, the whole Mermaid Peril thing, yeah, that actually doesn't last very long. And then right after that, we have Mystica somehow running into Rina on this fortress, probably nearby. And in terms of this fortress is actually the Silver Ray. Yep. And this particular portion of the arc actually wraps up Reina's character arc, and it also wraps up Mystica's arc as well, though he actually stays with the group for pretty much the rest of the series at this point. Yeah, after this arc, he stays with the group, despite the fact he has found the Silver Ray, and he actually destroys this damn thing with the help of Reina. Reina sacrifices himself, though she does do something she never got a chance to in the series. Actually kiss Mystica. Yep. It would have been nice if the writer kept these two alive, kept her alive, but nope. Just kill her off. Which I've heard that Mishima, he actually has regretted killing off characters in this particular series, because look at Fairy Tail, a lot of the time the writer doesn't kill off characters. This series, in this whole series so far, with the exception of King, he's a villain. I would say for good guy characters, they've only killed off 2 so far. They killed off Haru's father, and they killed off Rina, who actually was a member of the Original 6, but she defected. I mean, if she was kept alive, and if she was, well, let's just say, turned to good, they probably have it where Mystica probably tell her she doesn't have to always wear that beautiful dress she's always wearing. She can basically wear normal clothes when she's on the ship. And, of course, she can be very bossy toward Mystica's subordinates. Yep. Eventually, Haru does take on the main villain of the arc, which is actually the guy I said in the previous arc anyways. They make his henchmen. They get taken out after they're revealed to be very not nice people. Haru gets the 3rd stone, the 3rd Rave stone from the Rave Guardian, who does not make appearance on screen. Yeah, but, well, not the anal version of this creature. No, I think this one is a bear, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's not a bear. It's I think it's a walrus. Yeah, it's a walrus. Yep. Yeah, Haru meets this one when he's wounded after his battle with the pumpkin guy. He does, of course, win at the very end. And he does give him the Rave of Destiny. And then once the arc is over, they just wave goodbye to the mermaids. And these two, I don't know if they show up for the rest of the series. I haven't got that far yet, but I figured I'd talk about this particular arc. This was actually a pretty dang good arc. I mean, this arc is, in my opinion, noteworthy for wrapping up several different plot points. I mean, it set up the Pumpkin Gang. I'm going to call them that because I don't remember their actual name. It set them up, the Omega Gang set them up in the previous arc, and they get concluded in this arc as well. The Silver Ray plot point, which has been a recurring plot point since Mystica first showed up in the series, that gets wrapped up in this arc as well. And that's what it seemed like this arc was doing, was stuff that was set up before, or at least hinted at, throughout most of the series up to this point. I would say just the Silver Ray thing, but everything else that was up in the previous arc, that gets wrapped up in this one. And it has nice conclusions to it, which was pretty nice. And this is actually a really damn good arc. I kind of wish this was animated. But nope, we can't see that because the series got canceled. Well, the anime anyways, not the manga. The manga actually went on. Yeah, the manga actually ended about, if I looked up, in 2005, which is about 3 years after the anime did. So the manga managed on for 3 more years before the anime, even after the anime ended, which is kind of weird. Yep. Always though, that's really it to talk about this particular arc. It's a really damn good arc, but it was really long as well. Yeah, it's one of the more longer arcs in the series. Yes. From looking at the other arcs in the series, I would say the shortest arc. I would probably say it is the People of Time arc at 7 chapters. Yeah, this one's pretty damn short. I would say the longest arc, aside from this one, is probably got to be the Blue Guardians arc. Yeah, this one looks like it's really long, like a good I'd say 60 chapters. This is probably the longest arc of the entire series. The final arc is only 31 chapters. Yeah, 31 chapters. Yeah, I'd definitely say Blue Guardians is definitely the longest out of all the arcs of the whole series. This one was actually pretty long, but at least that the arcs themselves got a little bit shorter after this one before they got to Blue Guardians. Also, the whole thing of how we're getting the Rave Stone, that was nice. The fact he got this, and he only had just got the Rave Combat just 2 arcs back, and he got the Rave of Knowledge during the Dancing Thunder arc. That's what it seems like. It seems like every 2 to 3 arcs it gets a new Rave Stone. So basically, at this point, he's got 3 down, 2 to go. And from what I've read, he does find them all. Though that's been for another episode. I'm looking forward to basically getting to the final arc of the series where he actually admits he's in love with Ellie. But this was a pretty fun arc. Also during the arc, Ellie's bikini gets ruined, so she has to put on a t-shirt that's actually small. Yeah, the back of her bikini gets basically torn, so lucky enough the bikini didn't fall off and basically have one of her breasts pop out. That was kind of nice for the artist to do. Also, for some reason, it's revealed in this arc, I gotta point this out before I end this, apparently Lucia sleeps in the nude. The only reason why I know that, because they show him when they get him out of bed, apparently you see partially his rear end. Yes. My guess is the writer probably did it for his female reader, so he show up. You gotta show up some fan service, so he probably felt as though he probably wanted to show off fan service, showing one of the characters in nude. So show off the new main villain of the series, show off his rear end. I guess that probably got maybe some eye candy for the ladies, but who knows? Yeah, fantastic arc, I gotta say. Though it kind of felt like 3 arcs. It felt like it was 3 arcs that was actually part of an actual saga per se, but involved mermaids. The whole thing of Mermaids in Peril, that actually is partially a lie when it comes to the title itself, because it seems like the whole Mermaids in Peril thing, that doesn't last very long. That lasts for a good 10-15 chapters. Not an entire arc. I don't know. I'm not sure why it's called this for. I mean, the mermaids are rescued partway through the story arc, and then they're just. It seems like the writer's okay, why don't we? Of course, they also were planning. I'm sure he was planning on showing these 2 guys anyways. Well, the Pumpkinhead guy, because he hinted him in the previous arc. I'm like, okay, he probably thought as though it was this. Okay, I've got to wrap up the Silver Ray thing because this has been going on since Mystica showed up, so they brought him into the series. So let's wrap up that plot point in the series. It's probably the first major plot, one of the 2 major plot points that's actually concluded with this very arc. The other, of course, is getting the next Rave Stone. That's actually a continuation of their plot point, but just set up some previous arc. It's kind of like partially this is a funny arc, actually it's part of this arc. That's what if you look at it, that the previous arc set up this one. But yeah, so that's really it for this particular review. This was a pretty damn good arc as well. So tomorrow I will do reviews for the next couple arcs, which would be the Star Village arc, which is 30 chapters, and People of Time. I will hopefully cover these arcs tomorrow. Maybe I can probably finish the whole series tomorrow, but yeah, this was particularly a very weird arc. It's kind of weird, but it was really good. Though it was kind of nice to also partially, from my opinion, Also showing up partially Ellie in the new, that was probably another good idea for the writers to do. For the writer himself, basically, okay, so let's just have some partial fan service. Though we don't get, but it's probably for male readers, it's nice to see Ellie. He probably thought this would be a good thing for probably bring a smile to their faces, seeing Ellie without her clothes on. This probably gave him the idea for having half the characters in Fairy Tale for like a few times in the series where they go naked, or at least when Lucy goes naked throughout the series. But at least he actually gives equal fan service both male and female readers by having both genders actually do it. This one kind of like that, but I'm not sure how it is the rest of the series. But yeah, I kind of wish he kept Raina alive because she would have been an interesting part of the cast. But as far as I know, she's actually still dead. When I looked it up, she's still dead by the time the series ends. It would be interesting, though, if Mystica found a way to resurrect her. That would have been something. But, God forbid the writer actually do something like that. Also, I've been meaning to discuss this little thing. What time period does this series take place? Because they mentioned like high school, they mentioned about buses, there's a thing talking about trains. Though there's airships in the series, which that's something they also had in Fairy Tale as well. And there's no cars in the series, so you could say it's semi-modern day. But also, there are no horses in this whole series. None. None whatsoever. There are no horses. None that I see. Though there's a weird looking horse, but now when you think of horses. Then I mentioned like a racetrack, but that's the thing with this particular franchise. Excuse me, you don't know when it takes place. But one thing I would love to see the writer do, another crossover between Rave Master and Fairy Tale, because that one left it open to do another one. Though it's been some time since the OVA came out and when the one shot came out anyways. And I would say probably the best time to do is currently right now with the century the 100-year quest arc. That's probably the best time to do it right now. Just have like a few chapters where you just meet up with the cast of Raymaster after the events of the series, and just basically reveal what's been going on since the series ended. Finding out what happened. After all, if these two series take place in the same universe, why not? They're created by the same person. And it would be also interesting to know if, in fact, if Fairy Tail crossed over with a couple other series created by the same guy, like Monster Hunter and Monster Orange. Yeah, maybe he could have interaction with those characters aside from Raymaster. My guess is the reason why he did it with Raymaster because Raymaster's got popularity to it. Yeah, it's got a good fan base and was a good hit for him. So that's probably the reason why he did it. Okay. So that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for tomorrow for more parts of this review series. Talk about the final arcs of the series. So we'll see you there. Bye.